I'm both excited and not / dreading today's video. The reason why is excited because it's awesome what we're doing to, like, I think finish. Like, there's nothing left to do to the 131 Scarlet Harlot after today, right? Yeah, I think we're done. Anyway, excited for that because it's fun. That and it's something I like. We're going to finish the audio system on it. Dreading it because, man, Harley doesn't make taking the speakers out of the new Batwing fairing a fun thing to do. In the old days, the speaker was just in the back side of the inner fairing. You took the cap off and diddly-do, and they came out. But now they're in pods. And the pods are a load-bearing part of the inner fairing. So a couple bolts come out easy, and then I think 2 of them make you just want to throw yourself off a cliff. So anyway, what we're doing is we're finishing out the Wild Boar audio system on the 131 Scarlet Harlot. So we're going to make AC/DC and Black Label Society and all these other bands, Clutch and all them, sound real good at 95 mile an hour. Okay, maybe 110. But anyway, because she shuts down at 115. Anyway, so if you don't know the history of this, real quick, my 131 bike was a 2021 Ultra Limited that I've done a lot of things to. So all it is now, it isn't an Ultra Limited anymore because it doesn't have rear speakers, doesn't have all the wiring for the headsets and all that stuff. So 131 Street Glide with a liquid cooled motor in it now, basically, right? So we're on a chop tour pack, etc. At a time a while back, I went ahead and did the Rockford Audio Stage 2, I think it was, upgrade, where I had Rockford Fosgate speakers in my fairing and Rockford Fosgate speakers in my lowers, and then the amp. Now, when you do Rockford Fosgate stereo from Rockford Fosgate, the amp goes inside the fairing on a Batwing, or Rogue Glide, I guess, and that powers up to 4 speakers, I guess, at least 2. The amp goes in the fairing if you buy it from Rockford. If you buy Harley's Rockford Fosgate system, very similar as far as specs, the amp goes in the bag. I know. Even if your speakers are up front, you got an amp in the bag. I'm not a fan of that. A couple reasons. My experiences. A, the tape doesn't stick. So the amp sticks to the back of the bag with adhesive tape. And in Florida heat, sitting out in the parking lot, it's hitting 120 in those saddlebags, and it eventually melts that adhesive off. So I don't like that. The fact that it was always loose and could never get that amp to sit right. Secondly, I don't like that you lose bag space. Thirdly, I don't like that you got to cut holes in your bags and run cabling all the way from the rear to the front. So basically it goes from the stereo through cabling to the back to the amp to come back out and take other cabling back to the front. I can't make this up. This is how it's done if you buy it from Harley. Someone out there's going, no you don't, no you don't. Yes, if you buy it from Harley, it's how it goes. If you buy it from Rockford, it goes up front. It's different. Sorry to get angry. It's just people tell me things that... Anyway. So I eliminated that. About 30 pounds of cabling. Go back in the videos if you want to see where I did that. Big mess of wires and cables besides the amp that I eliminated. And what I bought was, it's like 500 bucks or something like that, the amp from Wild Boar, which is a 400 watt amp that goes in the fairing and powers 2 speakers. I eliminated my speakers in the lowers for 2 reasons. A, I don't think they were doing much for, actually 3 reasons. I don't think they were doing a whole lot for me. B, the covers had kind of gone discolored. Like they kind of grayed. The rubbery finish on there, they looked a little sloppy. And the bike's only a year old. And thirdly, I found this product where you can put a metal door over your lowers there and it creates like super secret squirrel little compartments in there where you can keep things that go bang really loud, stuff like that. So I really like that. So I eliminated those lower speakers and I'm just powering 2 speakers. And I thought to myself, well, the Rockfords are fine, right? They're like 400 bucks from Harley. They'll be fine. And I am not an audiophile. I don't know much about stereo stuff. So I left those 2 Rockfords in and installed my Wild Boar amp in the fairing, and I'm just tickled to death. It's what I want, is I want to hear loud on the highway. I'm not going to audio competitions. I'm not doing all that crap. Not my thing. If it's yours, whatever. Not my thing. I just want to hear my damn stereo when I'm doing 95 on the turnpike, which is a third of your life in South Florida if you ride a motorcycle. And so I achieved that. Immediately I started getting messages from those of you out there who are audiophiles saying, you did that wrong. Those Rockford Fosgate speakers are 2 ohm. And you have a 4 ohm amp. You can't do that. It's going to eat them speakers up eventually. So I'm like, now what am I going to do? Well, one of the people who reached out to me and said, that ain't right. You're running, 2 ohm speakers on a 4 ohm amp. was Wild Boar hog tunes. And they said, why don't we'll just send you the right speakers so that you can show what it's supposed to look like instead of this idiot. And I thought that was cool. So they sent me the speakers that go with this amp. Now, I also then had a call because these things are tech. They're like not just, you know, you used to buy Pioneers at AutoZone back in the day out of Crutchfield or something. You're going to put them in your 69 Chevelle. My history there. So anyway, so we pulled these out of the box. We actually walked through them. There's a couple things I want to show because they're rather intense and not what I expected. So that's what they sent me. I think these, and I'll correct myself if I'm wrong, but these are somewhere between $300 and $400. I don't know if they're $350 or something. $350. The 1654s. These are the round speakers that go in the fairing of a Street Glide Ultra, whatever, a Batwing fairing. They also make a variant of these 4-row glides, and that comes with chrome or black. I think they cost a little more because the grill setup costs more, basically, on a road glide, because it's modular or something. As a matter of fact, my good buddy Smoke, that you saw me do some other stuff on his bike, he's got a 21, I think it is, road glide. He bought their system, the amp and 2 speakers, and had it shipped here. So you'll see me do this full stereo install on a road glide here in the next few weeks. I'm looking forward to that because it's going to be easier. A stereo on a road glide is a lot easier than a stereo on a street glide because, again, getting to the backside of these on a Batwing is not a fun deal. You can do it, don't get scared, but it's something you're going to curse somebody's mother over. So let me go ahead and shut this off because I have one hand. And we can take a look at some of the stuff that's a little different about these. I know some of you are always interested in this. They are packed real well, you know, wrapped up in plastic and in styrofoam. Some people ask that stuff. So here's the speaker. And you're going to notice a few things immediately if you're into this sort of stuff. I am not, but I'm learning a lot as I go. The size and weight of that magnet is rather significant compared to a lot of bike stereo speakers. The speaker weighs probably a good 3 to 5 pounds. I mean, it's pretty significant. The red coils here, that's the crossover, which is attached to the speaker, but pretty significant. This little light bulb, I thought this was really cool. As the speaker consumes power from the amp, if the crossover, and maybe I'm saying this wrong, detects sort of an overage, you know, an excessive amount of power, to avoid distortion, get this, the crossover will light that bulb up and burn off that excess energy so it doesn't reach the speaker. Like, that's freaking cool. I mean, so again, that little bulb right there, if you can see it, hopefully, that will light up and consume that energy to stop the speaker from, like, overdoing itself and distorting. These holes, those are for cooling, because speakers will get hot inside a pod if they don't have something built in to cool them off. So these do have holes built into them. Another thing they were explaining to me, you can see the depth of the grill. This grill sits like flush with the fairing when it's in, but you can see there's like a real depth between the tweeter and the woofer itself. That's because it's tuned right, so you don't want the sound waves canceling each other out as they leave the speaker, and that's why there's that depth there. It's set up just right so that they aren't rebelling each other and you're getting all the sound. Oh, the waterproofing, I asked. It's nothing is waterproof, because waterproof means submerged. If this is underwater, you have other issues with your bike. If this is underwater, I don't think the stereo is your top concern, just personally. But yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else, and I'll remember it as I do. It's rubber sealed in the backside of the woofer so water can't get past. It's just really nicely made. I really like these. So now it's time for me to start the hellish job of tearing the fairing cap off so I can show you where the amp is and all that sort of stuff, and then we'll get those swapped out, because right now these Rockfords are not going to last running an amp that's 4 ohms, and there could be some sound issues, I'm sure. He did tell me you're going to hear a sound difference pretty much immediately. So all right, step one is these 3 Allens, or Allens for me. They could be, it depends on the year. I've seen them that are Torx. I've seen them that are Phillips screws. So so these Allens got to come out. Actually, these, I leave that one in as the last one. And then there's a couple T25s or 27s, I can't remember, right here and down lower. So there's 2 on each side and those 3. And then you're going to take the fairing cap off, unplug the back of the headlight, settle this aside. I have to flip that over because that's a light. And then we'll go ahead and get that done. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. And this is a Batwing thing. So if you have a street glide or an electric glide or an ultra classic or an ultra limited, Batwing sucks. And it's not Wild Boar's fault. It's just the way these are designed with these pods, because I'll show you. The pod itself, I was just drop shit. It's just an enclosure for the speaker, right? It's just the way it mounts to the frame inside the Batwing. The pods become sort of a support, you know, so it's an engineering thing, I'm sure. But you've got, you know, some bolts here on the outside, no big deal. It's these three that, so you got a picture like it's, you know, there it is, and you can't get under that metal bracket to get to these three. That right there, it's freaking awful. I mean, as you can see, I pulled some plastic supports loose, and it sucks, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. So now the easy part is this. It's just a few screws to swap the speaker from, this is the Rockford, but you're like your stocker to the Wild Boar, and then take out this grill, because the speakers have a grill, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Part of the speaker is the grill. It's all sealed together. So, you know, there's that. If you got a Road Glide, I'm confident that I could do an entire Road Glide stereo install, everything, faster than I can just speakers on a Street Glide, no amp. So, it sucks, but it'll be worth it. I have no question. It's just you're going to have to get creative. Basically, it's either, I think it's a 3/16 Allen, so the bolt has an Allen hole in the middle of it, but it's also a bolt itself. Where the hell's the nut at? That's interesting. That's now maybe part of the motorcycle. It's an optional extra when you buy something from Professional Monkey. There's gonna be tools permanently embedded in the motorcycle. That's nice. I know it's a 3/16 Allen, you know, sort of indention that's on the bolt, but I can't remember what size. Maybe it's a 7/16. I think it's a 7/16 bolt, but you can do either one. I ended up not doing the Allen. I ended up doing a 7/16 socket on them because it just ended up working better after I muscled everything out of the way so I can get on the frickin' thing to get in there. But now the easy part. I've only done one side too, by the way. I haven't even pulled the other side out. I'm hoping it's easier, and it looks like it might be because there's sort of less wiring on that side as the side I started with. Pray for me. All right. Someone out there is Spielberg, and they're going to say, why didn't you do a side-by-side comparison? So this is the Rockford speaker. The grill is a separate piece. It screws to the fairing, and then this goes on the back side of it. I don't know if maybe that contributes to why I actually had a buzz from one of these that was in the fairing, not the speaker. I mean, it was a buzz coming from the fairing. So it is a three-way speaker, which I don't know if the other one is or not. It looks like a two-way, but it's quite a bit more shallow, not nearly as big. I cannot see, I'm sure there's a crossover somewhere, but I don't know where it is. I'm assuming, but it's not that I can see. And the magnet's quite a bit smaller, so because I'm probably not going to do anything with these, I'm just going to set that right there, and I can show you the difference between the two. Yeah. There's a pretty big difference between the Wild Boar speakers and the Rockford speakers. Again, you can tell by the bar and shield, these are the Harley version. The speakers, I bet, if you get from Rockford, are the same, just a different logo, but it's the amp setup and the install kit are totally different if you get it from Harley as if you get it from Rockford. So, yeah, I would say there's a bit of a difference between those two speakers. So, I'm going to hook this up now and throw this one in. The other side is a heck of a lot easier, as I'd hoped, because, how do I say this? The other side, there's a carrier that goes to the bottom of the stereo that's plastic that like a bunch of wires clip to, and it's just to keep them sturdy. It's shifted to the right if you're looking at the front of the bike. So it's way more a problem on the right side than the left side. Also, having done it, just, you knew what it was doing, so it was a little easier. But, yeah, 7/16 socket is what I used on all three on the left side. It's the right side that you might need a swivel or something to get on there, but it sucks, don't get me wrong. Give yourself a day or at least a few days. If you're like me and you get stressed out, I find it's good to get up and walk away, come back at it a couple hours later the next day or whatever. So just give yourself time. And again, that's only on the Batwing version. Road Glide's going to be pretty mindless. This fell off my rolly little chair. God damn, that hurt my lower back. Don't be fat, boys and girls. It's bad for you. Jesus. So, this little piece of shit. And I have a Viper right over there. It's like the best friggin' work chair money can buy, but this was close. It's a little Harbor Freight junk, I just thought I'd share the laugh with you. I leaned over to pick something up, and whoo! Out she went from behind me, and there she ended up on its side. Just crap everywhere. I've injured my spine. Don't think I can move my left leg anymore. God damn it. All right. It's day 2, if you can't tell. Different shirt, yeah. No, I don't normally wear shirts with my own damn logo on them. It was handy, so you know how that is. It's weird. Getting the bolts out, those lower 3 I showed you, is a lot easier on the left side than it is on the right side. But getting the bolts back in is easier on the right side than the left side. I don't understand how the hell that's working out, but I just got the last one started. I got to find a weird path with probably a little U-joint guy to get in there and get her snugged up. But we're not far from hearing these new speakers. I'm excited. They look rather intense. I'll show you that in a minute after I get these bolts buttoned up. Much like my homecoming date probably said in the early 90s. Boy, am I glad that's over. I'm full of them, let me tell you. It's live stream tonight, so I'm excited. I want to have a little libation, but I ain't going to do it because I'm saving myself for you. That sounds wrong. But anyway, I'm glad that's over. Again, on a road glide, and we're going to do that in probably a week or 2 or 3, it's going to be so easy in comparison. But on a Batwing bike, tain't fun to get those speaker pods out. But it's done. It's all buttoned back up. And I even got to do something I completely forgot about. When I changed the fairing, you guys know when I built this bike forever ago, there was a paint problem from a local body shop that I use, and my buddy at Advan sent me a new front fairing with good paint on it, painted correctly, and all that stuff. When I did that, I removed my vent cover, like my Custom Dynamics lit, like mesh vent thing. You mess those up when you take them out because there's adhesive in there. And anyway, they sent me a new one, so thanks to Custom Dynamics too, because I got that light right in here now. So I'll show you what they look like. They're way more intense looking in the fairing. The only thing I missed, I'm just being totally transparent, is the little silver bar and shield that was on them. That was kind of cool. But I'll show you what I mean. They come out of the fairing quite a bit more, and they look more substantial. So you see what I mean, where they're kind of three-dimensional out of the fairing. And yeah, I missed my little bar and shield, but I don't know. I just turned them on, a little classic rock here, and blasted it. And damn. What the guy from Wild Boar Hog Tunes is the parent company, had actually told me that I was trying to get what I meant. Now I totally get it. Is that, yes, it's loud, and you're going to hear AC/DC or whatever your favorite band is going on the highway. You're going to hear it, much better than stock. Stock stereo on a bike, if you've got like a regular special or whatever, is like 15 watts, 20 watts, and that's 400. So a little different. 400 divided by 2, so 200 per speaker. So more than 10 times the volume and all that stuff is a stock stereo. But what he said is what you're going to hear is with our speakers and our amp is a lot more fullness. You're going to hear more of the music. And he's right. Like you hear the lows, the highs. You're not going to be booming bass going on the highway. You can't hear that at 80 mile an hour anyway. So I personally don't understand the audio thing where you spend $19,000 so that your bike's really loud as it sits parked in a parking lot and then the battery's dead in 5 minutes. But I don't judge. I have friends that do that stuff. So bass is not as important to me. I want to hear the highs, mids, and a little bit of bass going on the highway at highway speeds, and this does it. So I'll put the links. Again, you can do this. If you got a Batwing and you can turn a screwdriver, you can do this. Just take your time, set aside a weekend, have a buddy come over with a 12-pack. Don't drink the 12-pack first. You're going to do a sloppy job. Take your time and get it done right, and you can do this. On a road glide, mindless. The speakers just like screw in from the top. You pull them out, pop in new ones. The fairing bracket goes right on top of the stereo. I'll also link somewhere on here the video where I put the amp in when I had the old wrong speakers in. The amp's easy on either bike. It's the speakers that you do have to do speakers. I'm sorry I'm bouncing around. If you do not just go buy the Wild Boar amp for $500 and then pop it in with some stock speakers. Speakers are going to actually catch fire and blow out of the damn bike. Not literally, but they're going to crack. The first time you turn those on, they're just going to split wide open. You cannot run stock speakers with that amp. And then again, if you buy their kit, I think, and I'll correct myself on screen, but I think for a street glide, it's $750 if you buy it all together, which is cheaper, or $850 if you buy it for a road glide. And the reason why is the grills and all that stuff are way more advanced on a road glide. There's different colored trims. You can have chrome or black. If you have a blacked out bike or chrome, these are all look the same. These are all black speakers. But on the Roguelite kit, there's a really cool looking grill with all these different trim pieces, and that drives the price up. So $850 for a Rogue Glide, $750 for a Street Glide. This kit that I'm using goes back to 2014. They do have stuff for older bikes, like 2013 or earlier. They have amps and all that stuff for that too, all the way back quite a ways. So I know we got a lot of brothers who watch this channel who have older dressers. They've got stuff for that too. But yeah, so I'll put the links. Check them out. Thanks again to HogTunes for sending me the speakers. Really appreciate that. And again, to Custom Dynamics for sending me my vent light. I'm going to show you that before I forget. It's the thing that I messed up when I took it out. That I fouled up when I changed from that cap that's sitting up there. When that has bad paint on it. When I popped that out, I had a Custom Dynamics lit vent, and I screwed that all up. So they sent me a new one to replace that. I really appreciate it. Bike is filthy. But, yeah, gave me that as a gift. Least I could do is show you how the damn thing works. I forgot. So it's a white running light, and then it's also a turn signal. So, you know, so I got these guys, those, and those on the front. And then I just got the 2 bars in the back. I used to say all the time, I don't want my bike looking like a damn, you know, Star Trek spaceship going on the road. But the reality is, the older I get and the more aware of how easily you can frickin' die if your bike is not noticed, I'm all about the lights these days. I want that sumbitch to have strobes on it, and smoke machine, and various lightning, like a Tesla device with lightning on the top. I want some stuff on it so that these Florida idiots see me going on the road. So I'm pro-light these days. But thanks again to Custom Dynamics for replacing the one that I screwed up, and HogTunes for speakers. I really appreciate it. If you want some audio, I'm so freaking happy with this, I can't even describe it. It's going to give me the sound that I want going on the road. Today is Veterans Day, Friday, November, I think 11th. Yeah. Tonight is live stream night at 8 p.m. Eastern. The missus and I will be live. I've got a lot of questions like, how do I participate? You just go to YouTube at 8 p.m. and go to our channel, and you'll see it. There'll be a little red dot that says live. You know, hit that and join us. We just have cocktails, tell jokes, laugh, this, that, and the other. We will, of course, do our best to celebrate our veterans by showing the freedom that they provide us by having way too much whiskey. That's patriotism right there. So, love you all to death. Take care of each other out there. We'll talk real soon. Bye.